all the Footwork series, we normally work into a neutral pelvis, a neutral spine. There are some people who have poor body awareness, and it's not so easy for everybody to be able to actually practice and let them imagine that this would be a glass of water. On this exercise, on this series of exercise called Footwork, and oftenly one of the common mistakes we see on this series is about the pelvic placement. The people cannot or can hardly either stabilize their pelvis over the mobilization of their legs, or even sometimes they don't even just understand what they really have to do, even though the teacher is doing that, is teaching about that. But there are some people who have poor body awareness, and it's not easy and not so easy for everybody to be able to actually practice, move while trying to connect their mind to order to their body what they have to do. So for Footwork, all the Footwork series, we normally work into a neutral pelvis, a neutral spine. So how do we address that? First, of course, we are going to cue our clients what is a neutral pelvis, and what is a neutral pelvis, of course, is when the ASIS is lying, and the pubic symphysis here, together lying flat, like if it would be, like if you would put a plate on your pelvis, the plate remains totally parallel to the ceiling. Of course, we are not going to put a plate on the pelvis of our clients, but here we could, for example, ask them to put just their hands, just like this triangular shape. But if this is not enough, what we could do is to just simply reduce the spring setup and only put a light, or even, a medium or even a light spring, and ask our client to place a yoga block or something similar, something a bit flat. It's not a plate, but something that is pretty flat right here on the pelvis, to provide them this awareness already and let them imagine, giving them this imagery to imagine that this would be a glass of water. Then as the spring is very light, they could stop actually to focus on their leg movement, but instead we could easily cue them to stabilize the pelvis over the mobilization of the legs. Of course, as the spring is light, they are not going to work their leg muscle so much, but they are going to really focus here on core stabilization. It's all about core stabilization rather than on the leg movement. So here we really bring this awareness to our clients to really focus on pelvic stabilization rather than to focus on leg mobilization and strength. And then we can ask them to place their fingertips below the lower back, having just a gentle distance and thinking about the glass of water on the pelvis, and also cueing about trying to stabilize all the bones, so knees are not wriggling. We want to really connect and focus on stabilization. So I find this is a great tip to really address that to our beginner students in order to really help them to achieve all the Footwork series properly. What about you? Do you have any tips how you will do with your beginner students? Let's share that together and find a great way through this Instagram. We teachers could help each other to find some tips to help our clients. I find this is very interesting. Thank you for watching.